Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE and streaming online at kvre.com. Our cups are full and we are ready. Tracy, how was your week?
Oh, man, unbelievable, of course, kicking it off after we did the show with, Father's Day. Think about it. You know, so many fathers out there and grandpas and uncles, and we're so blessed, Mark, to be a part of this. But a lot of activities going on around the region and lots of championships being dished out. Some not yet, some already there. Some of us are going to have to eat some crow, and some of us may get a little steak sandwich. I don't know, Mark. We've got a lot going on with this tailgate, so let's drop it and get going.
Absolutely. Well, our story this week starts with the NBA, where the NBA Finals is in the books. And I don't know if either of us are eating steak, Tracy, because I remember our predictions. I remember both of us being pretty wrong on that one. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics.
There you go.
Fun fact, 16 years to the day since their last championship in 2008. Talked about it last week. My oldest son was a newborn in diapers. And we were watching highlights at 2 o'clock in the morning on ESPN while we're doing bottle feeding. But once again, the Boston Celtics are NBA Finals champions. They blow out the Dallas Mavericks 106-88 after kind of a really weird Game 4 where Dallas just blew them out of the gym. And it really looked like, hey, that's the Dallas team that we expected to win this thing. But, the truth is, Tracy, is Boston got it done under the backs of their star duo, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They did it in front of their home crowd. And, did they throw Game 4 so they could get back home for Game 5?
What was up with that?
I don't know, because it looked like two really different basketball teams after they took care of Dallas in Game 3. Easily. And then in Game 4, they didn't show up to play. So did they want to win on their home court? I don't know. I'll let the tinfoil hat people out there decide that one. But they did win on their home court. They will hang banner number 18, and they do break that everlasting tie with the Los Angeles Lakers. And now all of a sudden, hey, Boston's back up there on top of the rafters. They are the best team in NBA history, at least at this best franchise, maybe I should say, in NBA history. They got 18 banners. The 18th one is coming. One of the things I really liked out of this, Tracy, was that Jason Tatum is certainly the star of the team, but it was Jaylen Brown that ended up getting the NBA Finals MVP. And for the series, Brown averaged 20.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5 assists, and they're all great numbers. Tatum had better numbers across the board. What I really like is that Brown got the MVP for reasons that didn't show up on the stat sheet. And that's because for the majority of the series, Jaylen Brown had the duty of guarding Luka Doncic and really helped shut him down. I said it on previous shows, the Celtics did kind of let Luka run free a little bit, but Brown did just enough to contain him while the rest of the Mavericks were shut down offensively. Jaylen Brown was a huge reason that Dallas did not win this series, because coming in, I really thought Dallas was the better team on paper, and with the level of competition that they beat, and with Luka averaging a triple-double and doing something that only like 4 other players in NBA history had done, it really felt like it was Luka's time to shine. And congrats to Jaylen Brown for really helping make a name for himself. I know all the attention is on Jason Tatum finally has his first ring, and here we go. And a lot of credit goes to the coach as well, Tracy. We don't give Coach Mazzulla enough credit, and I think the media in general doesn't, but at age 35, he becomes the youngest coach to win an NBA Finals title in more than 50 years. This is a really big deal. Of course, we talked about the coaching turmoil and the changing of the guard and some issues that the program has had in recent years. Mazzulla comes in, has an excellent regular season record, and now he has a ring coming to him as well. Certainly the youngest coach in the NBA to win the honor, and I think one that's going to move on to do very good things throughout his NBA coaching career that's really just getting started.
A couple of different things, though, Mark. Let's back it up. Yeah, not so much steak, no prime rib, definitely not only one, but probably 3 or 4 crows, I'll be honest with you. It's a nest because, we were talking about Jason Kidd and his coaching style and having a little bit more experience. The chess match we thought was going to happen never did. He absolutely defined the moments when he brought in bench players and such like that, and then when he thought it was best to leave, possibly not alone or something, and let him shoot because he could. I mean, at one point, I don't think he could have hit the side of a barn with a brick. He just was just throwing up bricks one after another and not making anything. And he let him run with it. Like you said, not one guy's going to beat Boston. It's just that simple. And he didn't get any team play from the freshmen. It just wasn't their series. But on the reverse, it was something as a team that they went out on the court. And we did bring this up 2 weeks ago as far as bench play. And they did get bench play. Several times you saw them go over to the sidelines. Tatum a couple of times. Not that I don't think his legs 100%. He still was favoring it a little bit. But when he turned it on, he turned it on. But you saw the point in time when he would do a complete, it almost looked like hockey. He would get 3 or 4 guys out there and do a complete change out and bring in, the B team, so to speak. But then the B team played just as good as the A team on some of them. And we could go through the list of the players for Boston, but everybody showed up. They had bench play. They had the stars out there playing, and it was just a complete series. Now, the 50-point swing from that one game to the Mark, they wanted to go back to Boston. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They wanted the streets of Boston on fire, and that's exactly what happened. I'm telling you.
I listened to that game on the radio. My wife was doing some shopping. I stayed in the car, and I think I listened to the entire game while she was in the store. But I do remember, a lot of those points in that differential were really Dallas jacking up threes in garbage time and just could not miss. But yeah, it really seemed just like a weird blip on the radar. When you look at what the Celtics have accomplished this postseason as a whole, they finished 16-3. That's second only to the 16-17 Golden State Warriors. And, this is really a culmination of a journey that began roughly around 11 years ago. There was a big blockbuster trade. It was the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics making that blockbuster deal. The Nets get Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, and the Celtics get a litany of draft picks, and 2 of those eventually become Brown and Tatum. Yep. And this rebuilding process that so many teams go through. I'm sure for Boston fans, it was excruciatingly painful to go through that for a number of years. And, you saw the so close, almost there kind of thing. Like last year, they go to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, lose to Miami, and then Miami gets blown out by Denver in the finals, and just so close. Getting to that stage, even getting to the finals in some years and just not able to get across the finish line outside of whatever Game 4 was. This was a Boston team that really relied strongly on defense to get things done, and they did it remarkably well. Vegas odds are already out for next year. Who's going to be the most likely as champion next year? Unsurprisingly, Boston has the highest odds of repeating going into next year. I believe Denver is second. Dallas is third. So, it's not a complete drop-off. It's not, this Dallas team didn't deserve to be here. They just, they didn't show up.
Not at all.
If you ask me, this was a team that certainly looked ready entering, exiting the Western Conference Finals, I should say. Entering the NBA Finals, they looked like the favorite to me, even though they were the 5 seed. But Boston just got it done. They found a way. They've done it all season long, and now they're hanging banner number 18 in the rafters. It's well-deserved.
Well, and like you were saying, though, and I'm going to back up right here real quick, because at one point I was like, because they were scoring, they had 111 points. They were averaging 111 points, and it just didn't look like to me their defense was playing them. Well, what it was yes, they were playing, but they didn't have to have their defense because they were not only scoring, they were scoring a lot, but they were getting second chances at scoring with the rebounds. And so they could back off a little bit on defense because they were outscoring everybody. Now, don't get me wrong, when they played Indiana and such, they had some close games and such, but they were still getting second and third looks and making them. And then they were getting back on defense. And like you said earlier, Mark, they were just chunking up threes. And everybody was doing that at the latter part of the series, just trying to catch up with them. And besides what I guess we can call the blowout game, I don't know what you want to label it. Maybe somebody's got – it doesn't really matter if you label it or not. They got the ring. But as it is right now, they've got one of the top defensive teams going into it. Now, here's the question I'm going to put on you, Mark. we'll save this for a later time because we're already at the 2-minute warning for the first quarter. Who's going to stay and who's going to go and who's going to get the money and who's going to get denied? That's some question we're going to have to talk about at some point.
I know right now Jason Tatum is due for a very big payday.
Big one.
I expect that he will get it. But there's a number of players that are questionable, I think, at this point. With Porzingis got injured during the series, was really only able to play sparingly throughout the finals. And to be fair, they didn't need him at full force at that point. They went up with a 3-0 advantage and really kind of coasted to the championship. It took 5 games, but whatever. And another player that we don't talk about very much, we talked about Daniel Gafford for the Dallas Mavericks. Hey, there's a former Arkansas Razorback on the Boston Celtics as well. That's Jordan Walsh, and he's an NBA champion now.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Hey, in that pivotal Game 5, 15 points, 20 rebounds.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, an absolute great effort there. I think it does great things for the Arkansas Razorbacks ball club, the organization, and that's a huge standout performance for him, who's mostly a role player for Boston. But I think that it's little things like that. It's like Drew Holiday coming up big defensively in the series. Not he's a little guy or anything like that, but it really shows the depth that this organization had, and it really was more than just 2 all-star guys leading the way. It took a village to get it done, and they did. They absolutely did. And it was fun to watch.
No doubt about that. All right, first quarter's up, gang. We'll be back with the second quarter coming up here in just a minute. More information. We've got another championship series going on also. All of it right here. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, second quarter coming up.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Okay, Tracy, we've talked about one championship in the books. The NBA is done for the year, but another championship still going. Of course, we record this show on Wednesdays. It airs on Saturdays. And as of this moment, the Stanley Cup Finals is heading to Game 6, and this is getting exciting. The Celtics and Mavericks didn't really quite do it for me, but this one's really getting interesting. After Florida Panthers took a 3-0 lead, we thought, this is going to be another major sweep as well. I'm not so sure about that because Edmonton has come back, won 2 in a row, and now they have sent this series all the way back up north to Edmonton, Alberta. It's the longest geographical distance between 2 teams in NHL Finals history, and it's really heating up. So before this past game where Edmonton comes out and gets it done against Florida, remember last week we were talking about Jerry West and the passing of Jerry West and how he was one of the only players ever, like in sports history, that won a Finals MVP on a losing team. Well, for the Edmonton Oilers, we were starting to have that conversation as well for Connor McDavid because he's easily the best player on the ice, and he's doing something that very few, actually I think only one player in NHL history has ever done.
Yeah.
And let's talk about it. So, Connor McDavid, over the past 2 matches of this series, has 4 points per match. That's either a goal or an assist on a goal.
Right. Total goals.
So
total goals.
That's right. So over the past 2 games, he has 8 total points. He is the only player in NHL history to ever do that in a final series, and the only player to ever have 8 points in a final series is Wayne Gretzky. Now, Connor McDavid has now done it in consecutive games, which has never been done before, and that sparked all the conversation of, hey, he could be the most valuable player on the losing team if Edmonton doesn't pull this off somehow. But after Game 3, I don't know what happened, but Game 4, Edmonton really starts to come back, gets a blowout win there, and then wins kind of a close back-and-forth nail-biter in Game 5 to send the trip back to Canada. And I'm really intrigued on where this is going because this Florida team looked very, very dominant to start this series. Looked like they were going to sweep it. And remember, this is a team that I said, you know what, I think this may be the weakest team remaining in the final 4 teams that were left. And now Edmonton's really turned on the juice and just looks like a totally different club out there. So I want to know what your impressions are after looking at both of these 2 teams. Only 4 teams ever in NHL history have went down 3-0 and just forced a Game 6. We're not even talking about Game 7. Only 4 teams ever have forced Game 6, and now Edmonton is one of those. Do you see the Oilers maybe pulling off the impossible and turning this thing around?
Mark, if you look at it, they did something also this year, and with McDavid, they did something that hadn't been done since the 50s, and they ran a 17-game win streak out, okay, 17 games. So that means it all went at home. So generally the home crowd, gets you going and stuff like that. Well, they proved them really wrong down in Miami. I got news for you. Now they're going home, and, you can say McDavid, and when you say the likes of Gretzky, you're talking big time there, okay? You're talking not only
one of the best to ever do it. Legendary.
I mean, definitely he'll be, in the books. And he's getting paid to do that. He has a huge 8-year contract and blah, blah, blah. But he's doing it. He said this the other night. I watched the interview. He says it's not all about the money. He says it's not all about the money. It's what we can do and showing that we got the capability. And then it wasn't a fluke that they ran that consecutive win out. He said, and they're not going to do this to us. All right. Last night's game, obviously, empty net at the end made the difference on the 5-3 win. But still, 8-1 prior to that, okay? And like you said, McDavid's on this miraculous run. And if they go back, and I know there's fans down in Miami and Florida, but there's fans in Canada. You forget where hockey really was prevalent. And I know it
feels like the home of hockey.
You can say Slavic countries and stuff like that, and Russia particularly, of course, who ruled it for years. But Canada, that's where all the players were coming from. And then you think about, Florida, they got some fans. But they ain't got fans like you do up in Edmonton. I got news for you. That's going to be the difference. Gosh, I'm saying Game 7.
It's such a mental game. I mean, most sports are, but it feels like such a mental series right now because Edmonton is not playing like a team that has its back against the wall and is in panic mode. I look back, so in Game 5, it's 4-3 Edmonton, and the Panthers are really just trying to fight to stay alive in the last few minutes, try to, poke in a goal, force overtime, and there's a shot on goal from Edmonton, and the goalie for Florida makes an amazing dive to block it with like the edge of his stick to just keep it out from going in. But in doing so, making that connection, hits it straight to McDavid, and then it's open goal, and boom, there it is, and it's 5-3, and then it's pretty much out of reach at that point.
Yeah,
and it's just like, they're in the right place at the right time. They feel like they're the ones in the driver's seat. They play like they're the ones that are about to crown the championship. And I think they've been really driven, especially this past couple of games. Obviously this last one was in Sunrise, Florida, and I did see some interviews where some of the Oilers players wanted to see the trophy. Trophy's already in the building, just in case Florida ends up winning, they win the series, and they get to celebrate at home. Some of the Oilers players went, and I don't know how they got access to it. They don't usually keep it on the floor kind of thing, but they got a chance to see the trophy.
Right.
I don't think that they were supposed to. But
no, but they did. But they didn't. Yeah, exactly what you said.
And they turn it into fuel. They turn it into momentum. Jeez. Hey, I want this. This is still attainable. I'm going to do everything I can to go and get this. And you see the way that Edmonton plays, especially on power plays, where Florida's got where Edmonton has the advantage on the mismatch, and they're taking advantage of every opportunity given to them. And they, like I said, it's a chess match. They feel like they're in the driver's seat. And when this Game 6 goes home to Edmonton, I think they're the favorites to win that match. They force a Game 7. They've already shown that they can win in Florida. I think it's anybody's series right now, sitting at 3-2. Winning Game 5 was so crucial for this Oilers team that I really think it's changed the entire momentum of the series.
And if it was 3-1 still, and they're going back up then, as if it's 3-1, do they do a Boston and just the Panthers and then blow it so they can go back home and celebrate? No, they know that their back's against the wall. Not Edmonton. The Panthers' backs, even though they're leading right now, they know their back's against the wall.
That's right.
So if they're going up there and they're going to try to get a W and go home, look, I mean, just knowing that it was almost in the other way. Now, of course, this, once again, like Mark said, this comes out on Saturday and we're taping early. So Friday night's game is going to be a huge matchup. But I got news for you. And you and I always, I don't know, somehow we love the underdogs. And as I just don't know, is Edmonton, even though they're down 3-2,
I don't know if they're the
underdog. Are they really the underdog? That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they're the underdog when they're down 3-0, but now that it's 3-2, I think it's anybody's ball game. But
and everybody's waiting for McDavid to break the, to be up there in the ranks of Hall of Famers and stuff.
Here's the old saying is a series is never in jeopardy until the home team loses. The home team just lost.
Yeah,
in
big
Florida.
time.
So, they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals last season as well. Came up short, couldn't get across the finish line. This is the biggest test for Florida right now. The pressure's on them. Their back is against the wall because now they have to find one win in 2 games, not the other way around where Edmonton has to win 2 games to win the series. And the one thing that I do know about both of these teams, though, is that there's a lot of scoring in this series. This has not been a bunch of 1-0 games, 0-0 and go to extra time. There's been a lot of scoring. So up to the goalies in this one. Who's going to keep it out of the net? They're giving everything they can, but it's these guys are sharpshooters, and it just feels like they find a way. This has been such an exciting series to watch. I can't wait to see who comes up big with it, because no matter who wins this series, it's going to be really hard fought to get there.
No doubt. And hey, they went 17 straight. They can do 4 straight. Trust me. I know it's at a higher level right now. Trust me, because at that point they were playing some lesser teams. And like you said, the Panthers, they were in it last year, and Vegas just happened to outlast them. But it seems let's go back a little bit further, just one more step, the coaching aspect of it. Okay, you look at these guys on the side. Well, they determine the change out and stuff like that. You're talking guys that will get out there for 2 minutes at a time, and that's lengthy 2 minutes. Mostly it's a change, a minute and a half and such like that, because they go, something to the walls. They go after it. McDavid the other night stayed in there for 2:25 at one lick, and he just happened to be in there for that last goal that you were talking about. These guys don't. They know what's at stake right now, and I think absolutely, it's going to be a great game Friday night. I can't wait, but we will find out. And guys, if you want to chime in on this one, 915-1300, we'd love to chime in on it. And a little bit later on, we got lots of things to do. We're down to the last 2 minutes of this quarter right now. Coming up, what are you saying? Edmonton going to? Come on, I'm putting you in the corner right now.
Okay, fine. You put me on the spot. I'm going to say Florida. And the reason is because they've proven me wrong once already during this postseason. Like I said, I thought they were the weakest team out of the 4 teams left. Now, are they playing good hockey right now? I don't necessarily know that they're playing bad hockey right now. I think Edmonton has just been outplaying them the past couple of games. But like I said, Florida's scoring goals out there. They had 3 goals in this last loss. So I still am going to stay with Florida. But I do think it's a remarkable performance from Edmonton. This is the kind of series that breeds a new generation of hockey fans. I get it. It's Arkansas. We don't have an NHL team here. No. And most people that are listening to this show right now probably have never played hockey one day in their life.
Or been on ice.
However, I think that this is the kind of series that where it feels close and it feels kind of back and forth. And with the star potential, you got guys doing things that have either very rarely been done or have never been done. I love seeing that at this stage in a sport that's obviously been around for a long time at this point. So I think that it could be a really exciting time. I look forward to seeing how this one finishes up.
Well, we go back, obviously, to Edmonton, and we'll have more Sports and Shorts coming up. Third quarter, right here on the Tailgate Edition at 92.9 and streaming at KVRE.com.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, right here on 92.9 KVRE and streaming online at KVRE.com. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. And Tracy, unfortunately, for the second week in a row on the show, we have somber news to spread as another sporting legend leaves this world too soon. This time in the baseball ranks, the Say Hey kid, Willie Mays, dies at the age of 93. And this is a tough one to swallow, Tracy, because when you talk about legends in a sport, I don't know that there's a clear-cut GOAT in baseball in Major League history. Babe Ruth is a name that comes up. Mickey Mantle is a name that comes up. Jackie Robinson. They've all done great things, and they're legends in different ways. There's no just clear-cut, outstanding, that's the greatest to ever do it. And that's what I love about baseball, is because there's so many guys that are legendary for different reasons, and Willie Mays is certainly one of them. Of course, the catch, right, is the thing that he's most known for in the World Series. The behind the back basket catch, didn't even see it, just put his hands out and made the catch. I mean, it's a legendary play defensively made for the outfielder that is still emulated and talked about for generations later. But 93 years old, certainly his impact on the game was immeasurable. What he's done for the San Francisco Giants organization, certainly one of the best to ever do it. And I know that the Major League Baseball, they were working on honoring him coming up this week
during that game,
and the announcement was made on Monday that he wouldn't be able to attend for health reasons, had been hospitalized, and then unfortunately just a couple days later he's no longer here.
Yeah, matter of fact, the Cardinals and the Giants were going to play at the old Negro League Stadium.
That's right, in Birmingham.
And it was all set and everything, and his son just made the call on that one, and just sad news for everybody. But, and I'm a little older than you, Mark, by chance. And I remember watching him back in the days in the 70s and a little bit later on in his career, of course, okay? 60s and 70s, and Johnny Bench and stuff like that, and talking about him. And you and I referenced Brooks Robinson and Johnny Bench and a couple of those that I was able to see at a function at an FCA luncheon. And they brought him up, not only as a player, though, and this is what's big. And this is a similarity to last week when we were talking also about greats. His community effort, and then what he did not only for the team that he played, but for the community that he was a part of. Now, whether it was in New York, of course, where a lot of his time was spent, but just around the country, no matter where he was, it was all about the community and giving back to the kids. You saw him several times making appearances at ball fields and stuff like that, and different functions, but giving back, Mark. And that right there, to me, is the true essence of a hero and of a great one right there. Yeah, the catch, 1954, Game 1, World Series. He actually just played it off like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, and he's even talked about that in years after that. He said, hey, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I've actually made way better catches than that throughout my career. But it's the one that everybody remembers. Of course, it's on the biggest stage in baseball and able to help get it done there. And, he's been doing great things ever since he entered the game. Of course, born in 1931, he grew up in Alabama. His professional career began when he was 17 years old in 1948, played for the Birmingham Black Barons. He helped the team to the Negro League World Series that season. And, throughout his MLB career, certainly a career to remember. He was a 301 all-time lifetime batting average, and over 20-plus years in the MLB, most of them with the Giants. He made 24 All-Star teams. He won 2 National League MVP awards, 12 Gold Gloves. He's 6th all-time in home runs, and of course, there's been a few guys that have kind of bumped him down a little bit. He was a lot higher during his prime. 7th in runs scored, 10th in RBIs, 12th in hits. And one of the things, he's referred to as the best center fielder of all time. And he'll probably stay that way for a very long time. But one of the things that I really liked about Willie Mays was that he wasn't a super large guy out there. He was 5'10", 170. And it's the kind of stature, it's the kind of frame that I think inspires people to be like, hey, if Willie Mays could, a guy my size, if Willie Mays could do it, I could do it too. He wasn't the biggest, buffest guy out there, but he was fast. He had a high baseball IQ, and he had a love for the game. And I think that what he was able to accomplish speaks volumes to what you are able to accomplish as a listener or as a youngster out there with the game. Anybody can step up and do great things in this game. And I think that also largely goes into why there's not necessarily a clear-cut greatest of all time in baseball, and there may never be.
Well, the clear cut on this one is the emphasis is there. He showed that anybody could do it, Mark. And not only did the stats prove it, but like you said, his stature, not the biggest by no means, but what he had was heart. And there's no doubt about that. And you know that during those times, we've heard so many stories about Jackie Robinson and such and everything like that, and coming from the South and having to make his way. And can you imagine playing in the Big Apple, on the biggest stage?
Yes.
And then still being, just level-headed, going through the motions, and then everybody liked him, though. I mean, and that was what the biggest deal. Of course, you had the naysayers. There's no doubt about that. You still had some of the media that was, is he really, that was a fluke that he did this.
Times were different then.
Totally different. And even now, to this day, though, you've got people coming up and saying, no, yeah, he was. And he probably will be because, hey, look, there's some good players out there right now. I mean, some really good players out there right now. The level of I think the physicality of the game is different. The conditioning is different. Of course, the money is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but you played back in those because you love the sport. And did it help him get out of poverty in the South? Yeah, it did. But he lived just a very mild life. But what he did performance-wise on the field, you were talking about the stats. I was listening in the other day and looked up some other stuff. In all his games, you realize he only hit into 49 double plays. 49. Now, that tells you, hey, I'm okay. I just hit possibly a double out right now. No, he beat it out to first base, and he only he only won one series. So how many times did he hustle? And I know Pete Rose has his mainframe, but how much did he have to go through, and what did he do as far as the sport of baseball, not just for the legacy of Willie Mays, but what did he do for the sport of baseball? And I know Jackie Robinson gets a lot of credit for it and such, but this guy was something special, and he always will be, not only in the record books, but on a lot of people's memories. And, of course, just go back right now. You can Google it. You can do whatever you want to. You can stream it on your TV. Just go back and watch some of his plays. Even when they were down and losing and stuff, ninth inning, two outs, he gets up. He's going to get on base. 10-0, he's going to get on base. That's the kind of legacy that I think that he'll have for the rest, forever and ever and ever. And I don't like saying hero with sports guys a lot like that, but he was. And he did that for the love of the game and for the love of the sport and for the love of his country. He said that a lot, too.
Well, ended up being a very great role model. Yeah. I know you don't like to use athlete and hero interchangeably, but it all depends on perspective as well, because this is a man that had a great career in his sport without controversy. And you look at the next generation of athletes that kind of came after him, sometimes decades after him. You look at a Ken Griffey Jr., for example. You don't think that there's influence there from Willie Mays? Even Barry Bonds, who was obviously a large part of the San Francisco Giants organization, attributes a lot of what he accomplished. No matter what your opinion on Barry Bonds is, he got a lot of his inspiration from Willie Mays. And he was a guy that could do it all. He was quick on the bases. He could hit. He could obviously be a defensive mastermind with all the Golden Gloves out there. He's the complete package. So, whenever you try to even have a conversation with the greatest of all time, well, you look at Babe Ruth for home runs or Hank Aaron for home runs. You look at Jackie Robinson for impact to the game. But Willie Mays may not have been the best to ever do any specific category, but he was certainly the most well-rounded. He could do all of it. And that's why I believe he is in that discussion.
And a lot of folks that were turning the cheek on him at a point, when he got drafted, he didn't say, no, I'm going.
That's
I'm
right.
serving my country.
That's right.
The Korean conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, that's for another story. But he said, no, I'm joining. There's no doubt. There was a lot of folks that didn't, avoided it. A lot of sports guys, no, he didn't. He went in, served his time. Now, of course, he played baseball on the team.
Yeah, to kind of keep his skills up. But it was after he came back when he started hitting those National League MVPs.
Just doing it all.
He never lost a step. He may have even gotten better.
So
here's a comparison for you. It's Jordan-esque. Michael Jordan takes some time off, goes and plays baseball a little bit, doesn't go his way, comes back, never missed a step. May have even been better. I think the second three-peat was better than the first for the Bulls.
No doubt. Yeah. I'm not sure baseball.
Maybe breaks are the way to go. I don't know.
I don't know either. But from Golden Gloves to MVP to everything like that, he will truly go down in history as one of the greatest of all time.
He'll be missed.
And he will be missed. And I can't even believe that game that was coming up, man. That was going to be something special.
Well, now it'll most likely turn into kind of a tribute event too. And I believe that, obviously, I know that the San Francisco Giants will do something special for him, but I believe that every team in the MLB will honor Willie Mays in their own way this season.
No doubt. We've got more of the Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition coming up. Stay tuned. Fourth quarter is on the way right here at 92.9. You don't want to miss out because we've got also some traveler tickets to give away. We got lots going on. It's the Tailgate Edition right here at 92.9 KVRE and streaming at KVRE.com.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy, I'm Mark. And Tracy, we talked about it all summer long. A lot of great summer camps, 7-on-7s, team camps. The kids are out there working. And one of the biggest things that I love every summer is the Arkansas Travelers Youth Foundation. They are putting on a baseball and softball camp for kids on Monday, June 24th. It's a free youth baseball and softball camp right here in Hot Springs at beautiful Majestic Park. And for all the parents, the grandparents out there, if you know a youth baseball or softball athlete that's looking to keep their skills sharp or even just learn the game, this is the perfect opportunity for you. The Travs Youth Foundation is bringing Travelers players. They're the minor league affiliate of the Seattle Mariners MLB team for 2 hours of professional baseball instruction. And these youngsters, they can learn from MLB draft picks. I mean, these are people that are either going to be playing for the Travelers or ultimately playing in the big show. Some of them have those $1 million contracts. It's kind of cool. But they've got the skills and drills at Majestic Park. What I really like about these camps, Tracy, is that, yes, they're designed as introductory skills camps to the sport. It's not really for your advanced people out there, but it's trying to get as many people as possible to learn the game and to ultimately, hopefully, fall in love with the game as well.
Yeah, get people involved, get kids involved. I've seen what you've done with yours and what I did with mine years ago, and that's what it's all about. There may be some out there, that maybe have never even picked up a glove, maybe are bad or whatever, but you never know until you get out there and try it, and what a better place to be than, my goodness, out here. I walked those fields just again the other night. Unbelievable. But just to be a part of something, part of a team, and then seeing the camaraderie, and then also getting some firsthand knowledge from those guys that you may see at the next level some other time. But Lance does a great job over there. I think this is going to be one of the better ones around. But just the basics, getting in there. Because sometimes, like we were talking the other day, you can be a little timid, and because obviously some kids, a little bit more advanced than others. But just going out and seeing what you got and seeing what you love for the sport. It's something that everybody can enjoy, and it's something that I think that will get the kids involved in something besides, I guess, being on the couch all the time.
And of course, the camp will work on hitting, pitching, and fielding for these athletes, but also what I really like that Lance told me that they're going to be working on is baseball and softball IQ drills. They're going to have mock diamonds out in the outfield where they're going to set up different situations. Runner on first here, ball's hit, where do you go? Where's the play at? And they'll even put him on the base paths and put the runners in pickle situations. Okay, how do you get out of this? And really, for maybe for a little bit more advanced, I guess, baseball and softball tactics, but more hands-on, putting the kids in those situations. Okay, here's the situation. Where's the play? What do you do now? And that's how you can tell that they're really putting the effort into it. They're really putting the love into it, really trying to teach this game to kids. And of course, the camp is open to both boys and girls, ages 6 to 14, and youth athletes are welcome to bring their glove if they like, but it is not required. The Arkansas Travelers Youth Foundation is going to provide the bats, the balls, the gloves, all the equipment needed to participate. And did I mention it's a free clinic? All they require is that you register so that they can get a head count, because there are a few goodies that the camp participants will get registration required. You can register online right now. You can go to majesticpark.org, click on camps, and then click on Travelers Camp. And there's a little form. You fill it out. I filled it out. I'm bringing both of my boys there, and I'm really excited for them to get a little bit extra effort. They get to meet some of the Travelers guys, and each of the camp participants are going to get a free souvenir baseball from Academy Sports and Outdoors. They're going to get a free Arkansas Travelers ticket to a home game this season, and water and sports drinks are going to be provided. And I even found out that for the Travelers players there, they're going to be kind of keeping an eye on the kids and those that give really catch on and give exceptional effort. They're going to get to what's called a hustle card, and it's a special little trinket to commemorate a little extra effort given at the camp. So a little bit of an initiative and a reward for the players out there who step up and are good listeners and show signs of growth there. Yeah. So a great thing there. Of course, the Arkansas Travelers Youth Foundation, they know that one of the biggest barriers to the entry into baseball and softball is the cost. These travel teams are very expensive, equipment is very expensive, and it keeps a lot of players away from the sport. So they're working to try to break down that barrier. I think it's an amazing thing, and I can't wait to see what they have to offer in the camp coming up on Monday.
And Mark, I think also it's a great involvement. And a mom and dad, maybe somebody, look, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, whoever can get involved. Come on out and be a part of it. They're always looking for volunteers also, so you can be a part of something. If you know of a kid, here's what I think is important. Maybe a kid in the neighborhood or something. If you know of somebody that maybe has a mom, dad working at that point in time, work to get them there or something of that nature. Start right now and then be a part of it. That's what I'm talking about, being as far as a volunteer and involvement in something. If you know somebody out there that wants to go to it, then maybe help them get signed up. Mark's going to give that site to you again here in just a little bit. But get them involved also. I can't tell you how many times, countless times, I drove kids to just these kind of occasions, events like this, and just to get involved and be a part of that. That's what I'm talking about as far as being a volunteer. I cannot tell you how important it is for kids to get out. And it may not just be baseball or softball. It may be something that gets them a future in something else. Maybe it makes them into coaching, or maybe it just makes them into volunteering or being a part of the community. But trust me, it does wonders when you get out and help kids. People helping people. That's what it's all about.
I mean,
Mark.
Exactly. And I attribute my roots. Okay, so I've been in sports broadcasting now for 16 years. I played baseball all my youngster life, all the way up through high school. I attribute all of my sports background to stepping on a baseball field when I was 6 years old and playing a pitching machine league over at what's now Cedar Mountain. So, that I took a chance, had an opportunity, had a friend that was playing, and I went and I gave it a shot, and boom, look where I'm at now. So there's so much that can come from that, and it doesn't even have to be baseball. It can blossom into the other sports as well. But you got to get started somewhere. You got to take that chance. You got to step on a field, and it's even if you don't end up being an athlete later on in life, you end up being a doctor or a lawyer or a public servant, whatever. It teaches you so many things, not only about the game, but about life as well. Once again, registration for the camp, it's on Monday, June 14th at 9 o'clock in the morning at Majestic Park. You can register online for free, majesticpark.org. Click on camps, click on Travelers Camps. Now, Tracy, I believe we've got a giveaway to give away as well, right?
Yes, we do. A family 4-pack to any one of the games in the 2024 season coming up at Dickey-Stephens Park. All you got to do is be the first one to text me and say, yes, I want the family 4-pack. Traveler Family 4-pack. That's your text. Traveler Family 4-pack. Now, please, when you do this, not only with you in your text, have your address in there, also with your phone number so we can get back with you. Obviously, your name, 501-915-1300. But this is for a family 4-pack. And Mark, 4 reserve level tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 medium drinks. That is pretty cool right there. So once again, they've got a host of games coming up in July and August and, of course, September. So you got a while, but right now the first one to text say, yes, Travelers Family 4-pack. Once again, put your name, address, and obviously your phone number, and that's 501-915-1300. So good stuff right there. I've got that. Man, we got a lot of activities going on around the region too, though, don't we?
Yeah, we have to tip our hat to a local high school football team that is making waves around the region. At Lakeside, the Rams, of course, having a really good bounce back season last year. Brought in a new coach, Coach Rock, and I don't know what it is, Tracy, but I love it when he was the defensive coordinator before under Coach McBride, and he steps in as the head Ram and leads the Rams back to the playoffs, doing great things. And I love it when defensive guys take over clubs, and then it doesn't mean that they lose out on offense by any means. So for the second time in a week, Lakeside High School wins its second consecutive 7-on-7 tournament. This time it was the Shootout of the South, being hosted up in Little Rock. They defeated Keller, Texas 30-14 in the championship and took home a bunch of awards with it as well. Junior quarterback Wally Walcott won the Top Gun Award for best quarterback, and his teammate A.J. Burns was named Outstanding Wide Receiver of the camp. All eyes are on Lakeside right now. There's been a kind of a changing of the guard here in Garland County, like we talked about last year, with Lake Hamilton kind of having a down year. Lakeside ended up beating Lake Hamilton, if you remember, to start this season. But all eyes are on Lakeside, as it looks like they have not missed a step at all. They've taken down some really good teams in these 7-on-7 tournaments, winning the one in Benton, and then now winning the Shootout of the South. I think we're going to be talking about Lakeside a lot this season.
We've got lots of things talking about them. I think they're going to surprise some teams around the region also. And that's a tough conference, Mark. Make no bones about it. That's a very, very tough conference. But we've got lots to talk about coming up as far as football. We've got some great interviews coming up.
Yes, we do.
Yes, I know we're talking football. I realize that. But let me tell you something. There's less than 70 days till the Razorback.
And we'll catch you again next Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 92.9 KVRE. For Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. This has been Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on KVRE.
Don't forget, 915-1300, Texas Today. Mark, we're out of here.